That's the hardest thing ever. Men will never know what that is. Well, bitch, why didn't you train for that at all? You didn't even get your shit together in the least. You're over there eating Fritos and ice cream, and you look like a wreck. Stop it. Hey, welcome to Pirate Life Radio. It's Tait Fletcher, getting these out one after the next. I'm in Austin, Texas. We're here for Paleo Fx, which is kind of the tip of the spear as far as movement and nutrition goes in the fitness and holistic world. And we just set our booth up, and we're doing a big podcast weekend where we're going to podcast from the booth the whole time. So this is our inaugural event doing that. Before we get started, I want to just go quickly through sponsors. I want to thank, first and foremost, of course, Caveman Coffee. My whole life is brought to me by Caveman Coffee, and it's delicious, single source, single origin, sustainable beverage that you can get all kinds of your energy needs from. We've got MCT on. We got cacao, which is the origins of all chocolate things, delicious, except no sugar, just all fat. Mixed into hot beverages makes it wonderful. All kinds of stuff. Check out our site, cavemancoffee.com or cavemancoffeeco.com. Or you can go to our site in Australia. You just tack an AU on the end of that bitch, and you get to, throw your coffee on the Barbie or whatever it is y'all do. I'm also happy to announce that Clutch Houston will be open soon. We got Clutch Dallas, Concrete Cowboy Dallas, Austin, and Houston going strong, and appreciate all the support. And if you're in any of those cities, please go and have an exceptional time filled with wonders of nightlife. Ari Shafir is the only detractor ever to that whole place, just because he's kind of this old, boring Jewish guy now at this point with a bloody rectum, and that's a whole nother story. I'm not going to even go into that on this podcast, but sustainably for over 2 months now, it's amazing. Anyway, I want to thank the Float Clinic down in Torrance, always so helpful and wonderful guys down there. And if you don't know about the benefits of flotation, you should just look up the Float Clinic site, or you can find them on Twitter. They're super informative, and it's really great for spinal decompression, for nerves, for anxiety, for deep meditative states, primary relaxation. You can get, I would say, it's one of the best things that you can do if you can do it on a regular basis. Much like meditation is fantastic if you do it now and then, but on a regular basis, you can get a real benefit from it in a different way than you've done anything else in your life, really. Your life slows into a point where you can see your life in a fuller way and be more functional. So that's a huge thing. Original Nutritionals, all my fish oil needs. I go there. I understand they have goat protein also, but I don't know anything about that because they don't send me anything. But Original Nutritional is really great fish oil. Go to them, just originalnutritionals.com. Deuce Gym in Venice is the joint where I hang out, and you can follow them on Instagram, Twitter. You should go to deucegym.com. Fantastic blogs every day. Also, my gym in Santa Fe, New Mexico, undisputedfitness.com, and you can check all that out. A couple of my boys' videos just went viral in the jiu-jitsu world, like 600 or 800 shares going on. Like, they just went wild with one of Nate's takedowns to a heel hook.
70,000.
Is that right? 70,000. So anyway, yeah, it's huge, man, and they're always putting out great informational videos. Great strongman program just starting up there. If you happen to be lucky enough to live in Santa Fe, you can go partake in that. And I don't know, maybe I'll think of some more stuff later.
A big Tait Fletcher.
Powerful Tait Fletcher.
Is a real alpha male.
Weightlifter.
He's a stuntman.
Movie star.
Robust, enthusiastic individual.
He's huge, by the way. He's like a monster person.
One of the sweetest guys I know.
He's bigger than life.
Actor.
Entrepreneur.
A fighter.
The jiu-jitsu technician.
He's also bald and he has all these tattoos. He's just a big fucking man.
A man, a myth, a legend.
Tait Fletcher.
Tait Fletcher.
Tait Fletcher.
What's up, Tait Fletcher? You bad motherfucker.
Tait Fletcher. Tait Fletcher is
Tait Fletcher.
Teddy bear motherfucking Fletcher, ladies and gentlemen.
That's Tait Fletcher, everybody.
The great Tait Fletcher. Tait the animal Fletcher. Tait the savage Fletcher. Always moving. There's no stillness with Tait Fletcher. You will find no dust.
Tait Fletcher's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. He just said the word erection.
Tait Fletcher.
Tait Fletcher's in the fucking house. Tait Fletcher!
Tait really blasts out some serious hardcore truth bombs, and I think you're really going to enjoy it.
I'm here with Caveman Coffee founder Lacie Mackey, so we're going to get really deep into that about the origins of Caveman Coffee and how that all started.
So exciting.
And Lindsey Mathews, who happens to also be a doctor, but you wouldn't know it by her foul mouth. And she is the founder of Birthfit. And if you look at birthfit.com, you can find out more about that. But it really goes into like the wonders of pregnancy and all these idiots out there spitting kids out. I swear to God, it's like it looks like your body's in warfare for 9 months, and then you go into what is arguably every broad you talk to that's had a baby is like, that's the hardest thing ever. Men will never know what that is. Well, bitch, why didn't you train for that at all? You didn't even get your shit together in the least. You're over there eating Fritos and ice cream, and you look like a wreck. Stop it. Like. So Birthfit kind of dials that shit in a little bit in a way kinder, softer way than I would do it in my rendition, which would be Girthfit. But I'm here to help you ladies too. So, but if you want a softer voice, Lindsay's the one, and also a doctor of chiropractic. Chiropractic, do we say?
No.
She's whatever. She does all that stuff.
Chiropractic.
And yeah, she's super fancy. Beverly Hills offices and a house by the beach and all that stuff. And then Drew Amoroso, my lawyer. He's here just in case I say something out of line, and he'll let me know. But also, he's just started up his own practice, man. Which the coolest thing about being in this kind of being me is that I get to see all these different businesses and ideas get manifested where there was nothing before. And so that was one of the things that is super interesting to me about what you do, Drew, is that like is stepping out of I guess what you'd say is corporate law, like a big firm, and then going out on your own. And that's just happened. Drew's just off vacation from giving his 2 weeks notice, or however you do it if you're a real person. I have no idea. Whatever notice you give, and then starting his own practice, but only dealing strictly in health and nutrition aspects, either athletes or small companies. Is that right?
Yeah. So I practice what I like to call fitness law, which means basically that I represent fitness, health and wellness, and supplement and food companies that are in the fitness space. So basically act like their outside general counsel, help them grow their brand, protect their business. And the name of my new firm is Move Legal.
Move Legal.
Move Legal.
Yeah.
MOVELEGAL. Yeah. So I wanted
Is that
to
movelegal.com?
It's movelegalpc.com.
Okay.
Somebody had Move Legal. Some person who's just squatting on it, which is pretty annoying.
Where do they look
They'll
for
wait
you?
for you to get big and charge you $10,000.
That's right.
Where do they look for you on Instagram and all that kind of stuff?
At FitLawDrew.
Okay.
FITLAWDREW.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
And you're a keynote speaker here at Paleo Fx.
Yeah, I'm going to give a presentation tomorrow, Friday afternoon, on 4 ways to protect your brand and grow your business. Just some basic stuff.
Cool.
On corporate formation, brand protection, advertising and marketing, and then some stuff on employment too.
Right.
Yeah.
So here at Paleo Fx, I don't really know exactly. Like, we were here last year. Lacie, you came and stole the show last year with the booth and smashed it.
Yeah, we had a great booth.
But like, who is it? Rob Wolf that puts this on, or is it Mark Sisson, or who?
Like, it was my understanding that it was Mark Sisson and Rob Wolf, but I think they were just kind of the two headliners, because I'm not really sure like how involved they are in putting it together. But
I think Michelle
Norris is the CEO.
Yeah,
and she organizes it and kind of runs the event. I mean, she's kind of a one-woman show. It's unbelievable what she does. And then they just work with the Palmer Center and some other people to do it. And I think it's been growing each year. Definitely getting more expensive each year. But the cool thing, and I was saying this earlier, is last year I rolled in and just doing events, and I had done an event for South by Southwest here a couple like months before, so I had access to a bunch of really cool like props and stuff. So we built a cool booth, and everyone else just had like their little banner with their pipe and drape, and I was like, next year these people, everyone's gonna like up their game because they're gonna see like this other thing, and totally we're seeing that here, which is pretty exciting.
People were hovering around.
I mean, we were so slammed the whole time. We became like, there were other podcasts coming into our booth to do their podcast in our booth. And like, we became actually the like centerfold of the like new branding for the Paleo Fx event. When they sent out like the packet or whatever, it was just like the Caveman booth, the Caveman booth, the Caveman booth.
Sick.
So yeah, it was pretty awesome. And it's cool to see other brands like upping their thing and be more creative with their booth here this year instead of just whatever.
I feel like they should have comped us a booth this year. I'm just going to go ahead and say that live. I think they
at least give a buddy pass.
They totally fucked up. Because
They
we
did give us
this booth, but you
they
can't
gave us
double your
this
prices of
lovely
booths.
space next to the chill zone, which is
God
kind of
bless 'em.
nice.
God bless 'em.
Thank you very much, Michelle, for hooking that up.
And so what's your deal in this space, Birthfit?
What do you mean?
Her
What's my
pelvis
idea?
is here, and I don't mean her actual pelvis. I mean she has a pelvis part
her
of
pelvis.
her.
My pelvis
I'm
is
looking
right
at her
here on this
pelvis
bit.
She has a
also.
pelvis here, but she has another pelvis that you could play with.
So what are you going to do at your booth? How do you display Birthfit?
Well,
I hope no bitches are
We're
going to have
not
a baby
gonna
over there.
get
Life birth.
Good.
Come on.
Thank God. You know, I was
should've
on
flown that lady
Microdot
in.
one time in
What?
high school. I took it's a mescaline, and it's a hallucinogenic. And I took one hit when I left the house in the morning at like 7. And by the end of first period or second period or something, I was like, it wasn't really hitting me. It takes about a good hour anyway. So I popped another one.
Oh.
And then by sixth period, I had a health class. And so you go out and whatever health class things. But I got that, unbeknownst to me, they're showing a live birth on a video screen.
so you were given birth.
And it was horrible. To be on acid and watching that happen you're watching a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It is awful. That's why there's so many single moms probably. Anyway, so what are you doing here?
Oh my gosh.
God. I don't know. This is our first week or first time at Paleo Fx. As you can see, I'm the only one, which was very iffy if I was going to come at all because I was waiting on a lady to have her baby this week.
Right. And she did have it?
She did have their baby yesterday or 2 days ago. Sorry, still lack of sleep. But if I wasn't here, Logan and young Nick McCoy, were going to man the
They're
booth.
going to bring Girthfit in the
Yeah,
house.
that's what I said. I texted Lindsay. I was like, well,
Yeah.
Girthfit's real, I guess. And she was like, and I was like, I'm sorry, that's not funny.
Kind
I
of
was like,
selfish.
please
Kinda
no,
funny.
please no.
Kind of selfish of the lady to have the baby.
It was an awesome birth. Everything worked out. So, now I'm here making the Birthfit presence known.
Where did this idea come about for you? You got no babies,
No
and
babies.
you got where did you first go?
good question.
Man, this is a errant hole in holistic health everywhere.
It's a big fat fucking
Right?
hole. I kind of washed away the idea of ever having kids because, do you want me to give you the long story or the short story?
We got time.
Okay, so I grew up with asthma and I was in the hospital like every...
Like people go, look at that asthma, like that, or no?
like
Different. Okay.
the kid,
lung
the
thing,
kid with
then.
the inhaler,
Yeah.
like
Got it.
that sort of
Got it.
kid. So I was in the hospital all the time, scared of the hospital. Never wanted to go back to the hospital, like ICU, almost dying type stuff. So kind of wiped away the idea of ever having kids because you associate it with being in the hospital. And at that, as a young woman, I was like, there's no fucking way I'm going back into a hospital ever for any reason. But then during traveling and just being exposed to other things, I realized that other cultures have a little bit of a different perspective on how they view pregnant women, how they handle birth, how just other cultures, societies regard birth. I was like, oh wait, things can be a little different. Like you can have your baby at home, or you can have you don't have to be labeled sick or whatever. So I just started doing research and then started a blog, just started voicing my opinion back in 2011. Didn't really think my opinion mattered, but then I would get messages like, hey, your words help get me through labor, or whatever. And so now there's 15 affiliates across the US, and we educate women, get them ready for labor and delivery, and then help them, in the first basically 8 to 12 weeks postpartum, get back into their regular life or their evolved life.
And so a lot of that has to do with physical training as well.
Yeah, fitness, nutrition, chiropractic, and
All
mindset.
that.
Yeah.
So are
you
all
can't
the
just
people-
have one pillar.
Are all the people that are with you that have different affiliates, are they all chiropractors?
No, there's some that are chiropractors, and most of those affiliates are like a one-woman show. Like if they're a chiropractor, they're usually a coach and a doula, or they can carry out all the services that we want them to. Each affiliate will carry out the Birthfit postpartum series. They'll do Birthfit consultations in person, and then they'll do the Birthfit prenatal series. If they're not chiropractors, then they are usually a pair. So one is either like a coach doula and the other is a chiropractor, because we want them to be able to have some way of carrying out all 4 of our Birthfit pillars.
Right.
I mean, last year we probably had 50 applications to be a Birthfit affiliate, but we only took 10 last year.
It's probably good.
Yeah.
There's no need to dilute it.
No,
Keep it high level.
Yeah, hold the fucking standard.
Yeah. And there's got to be a ton of learning. Like, I mean, you've got to be going through a catharsis every few months or something.
Yeah, our first 3 months.
Or with every baby that gets born. I mean, how many births have you been at so far?
This year I've been at a birth every month. And then all my chiropractic practice is, 85, 90% postpartum prenatal women now.
Crazy.
But, yeah, the first 3 months of the year is all training for the affiliates, which is kind of cool.
They go to you to train?
Webinars. And then one in-person summit, which is happening in July.
Cool.
Drew's speaking there, too.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You didn't get an invite?
No, I don't ever. I mean, I barely
You're not going to have the Birthfit conversation speaker?
Yeah, why don't you have a Birthfit? I know. Good point, Lacie.
I hadn't sent out all the invites yet.
Do you have the Birthfit address? Mm-hmm. You do?
Marina Del Rey.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Right by Equinox.
What about Equinox?
It's on my block.
I know you always say that you're checking in there.
And you get mad.
Or the towing place.
Bruffy's Towing. That's right across the street.
Ruffy's Towing?
Bruffy's. Bruffy, yeah.
It's really fun to look at Bruffy's Towing Yard because they have auctions there. And so you can check out what's available for auction.
Oh.
And it's some hood motherfuckers going to buy some.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Trying to come up on a paint van or whatever.
I will be over there for the first Caveman Coffee Sprinter van. The minute we see a Sprinter van over there, I will be sprinting over, and I will buy that car.
I bet you can find some gems in there. If you
Oh,
pay attention.
dude, for sure.
Yeah.
But I wonder if you work at one of those places, you're like, oh, we're gonna put this one in the back, and we're just gonna put a cover on it, and my uncle's gonna buy it, or my sister needs it, or something. That's got to be.
Or I'm just gonna take it.
You kind of have to be friends with those guys and do that. Yeah, you're gonna take it. You're gonna do the seizures of narcotic kind of loot. Oh, nice boat. That's now mine. Who was it? We were talking about that earlier.
What?
The search and the seizures of when they bust drug lords and they take their cars and they take their boats and.
Not me.
I was just talking about that with somebody.
And they sell them
at auction.
And then they sell them at auction, or they just keep shit. How can you even it would be so hard.
When you go to Colombia?
If you're like in New York City back in the 70s, 80s, there was this big expose about it. And they're like, you can't, if we all go in, the 4 of us.
I was the 5th one.
And bust somebody, and there's $2 million there. Now there's $400,000 less dollars, and if you don't take it, you got killed in the raid. Sorry, everybody's kind of like.
What was that
trip?
What was that movie?
Serpico?
It was. What was his name? There's a movie that was out not too long ago. It was based in the 70s.
Right.
I don't remember. I think it was Russell Crowe. Maybe was a cop.
It was.
What was that movie?
Fuck.
When you go to
it was the same deal.
Colombia, which she was just there, you can they have.
And you were just there too, weren't you?
Yeah, I was there.
What were you doing?
I was working on a film, and which isn't out yet. And then
what movie?
I can't. I don't know the working title is all I know, so I can't talk about it. But look for it's an Escobar movie about Barry Seal, which is a very fun character. But there is our coffee farm there as well, which was where I was going, and when you go in the south, to Cali, some of the houses that they took over that were the big drug lord houses are now the military bases, and they have, so it's a military place where they station all the guards, but then there's all these underground tunnels and stuff, which is great because it's that's how people would escape before, but it's also great for the military because they can, or the police, they can just go in there, pop up all over the city, unseen, uncoming, and drop in on people, which is.
Do you know
crazy.
how many undercover tunnels Venice has?
What?
It actually has tunnels because.
How's that possible by the water like that?
That's what somebody told me, because where the townhouse is.
Yeah.
That the townhouse used to be I think it starts.
What townhouse?
Townhouse next to Minotti's in Venice.
The built it's a restaurant or a bar.
It's a
bar,
like a jazz bar.
It's the place where the bathroom is next to Minotti's.
Right. Okay.
So I've never been to the bathroom.
They don't let you do that anymore. They used to let you go to the bathroom there, and now they don't. And
old
it
school,
sucks.
Lindsay, know about it.
But they have. I guess that was the place where to get alcohol in during Prohibition, and that's where all the tunnels
I want to
started.
go down there. Let's go down there.
I mean,
Somebody else was just telling me about tunnels on Sunset Boulevard. They said I was at the Comedy Store. I was doing Red Band's
well, if you're
podcast.
listening,
So they just opened that up and they started a podcast room down in the basement of the Comedy Store. And the Comedy Store is like it's a crazy mecca, like Hollywood iconic joint where everybody, like Dom DeLuise and fucking Johnny Carson and everybody, not just cut their teeth there, and that's where they started, but like I saw Dave Chappelle there a few weeks ago, like
on Christmas.
But he's been there maybe, I don't know, 15 or 20 times in the last few months. Like he's just hanging out there, he's working on new material, and so when comics want to work on new material, that's what they go and they work out there. That's where I met Robin Williams. Like you know what I mean? It's crazy. It's this crazy like safe zone for these super famous and brand new nobody comics, and it's a trip. It's badass. Anyway, but there's got to be so many bodies in there. So down in the basement, you could walk across to the House of Blues underneath Sunset Boulevard.
But House of Blues is no more.
Well, it's still standing. They haven't ripped it down yet, but yeah, it's going to be gone. But that's what bootleggers used to do. They used to run booze under there. Wow. Crazy.
Oh my God, let's go to the tunnels.
I know.
Who can take us?
I know.
Love that.
Field trip.
Pauly Shore can hook you up. He loves to take bitches.
There's other
to the
places.
tunnels.
Is it Seattle where you can like tour?
Another tour guide?
Tour the tunnels. You can like go down and see the tunnels. I think it's Seattle.
I don't know.
They have all the Prohibition tunnels.
American Gangster. That
American
was the movie.
Gangster.
Yeah.
Denzel
Oh,
Washington.
that's a good one.
That was the movie.
He's badass.
Yep.
That Denzel. It's his voice.
What was the one he did when he was like Bubby the Coke dealer in Harlem?
Training Day.
No, old school. Like he was like the biggest heroin dealer. A true story.
American Gangster.
It was American Gangster.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
And that was Russell Crowe in that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I think
That
you're
went to
right.
He was the
Boston,
cop
yeah.
that was trying to track him down.
God, that was good.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's really good.
That's all brought to you by the U.S. government. All that heroin. Have you seen pictures of all the U.S. soldiers that guard the poppy fields in Afghanistan?
Yes, somebody else was just talking about
It's like
this.
that
Is deja vu.
Well, that's also all of our pharmaceuticals, or like not all of them, but there's a lot of pharmaceuticals based off of opiates, and so we own all that.
And the Pablo Escobar story.
Yeah.
And Noriega and kidnapping him out of Panama and the Sandinista, like all that stuff is all complicit with the highest levels of
Can't
government in the United
trust the government.
States and drugs. And yet we pretend that we want drugs illegal. And then you got to ask why, if that's not better for everybody, unless it makes some people a ton
The
of
drug
fucking
companies
money
are already
that are
making
in charge.
people die in our country.
It's awesome. It's awesome. What a hustle. What a great hustle. Like it's more lucrative to be illegal if you're into drugs than it is to be legal, because then you get to tax everybody. You get to tax the whole room. Like if one of us
And
smokes
you don't have
pot,
to pay taxes.
like I'm the only one getting taxed if it's legal. But if it's illegal, everybody gets taxed, because we have to hunt this guy down and we have to imprison him and we have to have drug task force. We have to have drug education. It's like, and so you get to tax all the taxpayers. That's way better. It's fucking something else. On that note, who's our next president?
Oh,
I don't even know what's going on. I saw the other day on the news they said
I'm
something.
not voting for anybody.
I don't think I will vote either.
It's still Bernie and Hillary on the one side.
It is, okay.
I hate Hillary.
But Trump is for sure he's the Republican nominee.
He's for sure.
He's it.
That's awesome. I'm excited.
I'm not excited.
I am not excited about it.
good.
Don't
I'm
say that's awesome.
I can't vote for Hillary because she's the most paid out politician by Big Pharma ever
she's
in the
the worst.
history.
But would
And
you
the
rather have
best.
Trump?
Yes.
She's pro-vaccine,
No.
so
I
yes.
would 100%.
No.
I'm kind of with Tait because
No way. That's us being blown up.
It has to do with. I don't care. Good. Bring that shit. The plane was so
I got
sketchy
my
the other
gun.
day. I was like, I hope we crash. This will be my big out.
But it's so fucked up because my biggest thing is with choice, and you can't force vaccinations on me. And Hillary.
Do you think that Trump will give people choices?
Yeah, he's already said it.
No.
Well, he's honest, so for sure.
Well, I don't care what he says either way, but I know, like, he hasn't said one way or another. But he's
racist, and he's like
he's
all
racist.
about everything else.
He might just be from Texas. He might not be racist at all.
Yeah, he might just be from East Texas. I don't know. But I can't support, as somebody that's for the parent, for the mom, I can't ever support Hillary, who's the most paid out. And she's point blank said, children are property of the state, the government. The government will choose to vaccinate them. Like, I can't do that. It's sad.
And she's point blank killed American soldiers.
Yeah. She's horrible.
I just don't want Donald Trump's finger on the button.
I don't want that. I don't want his viewpoint. I don't want his like crazy psychotic, like say whatever he wants to say in the moment and then like act on things to happen. I don't want him to be the face of our country that other countries look at us
That's
as.
the worst part right there.
Yeah,
The face of the country, that's the worst
it
part.
is disgusting.
The other part there's checks and balances for, but the face of the country is a huge aspect.
It's disgusting.
I think
And
that's the
also
biggest thing.
we've seen with him like the power get to him. Like he's so ego driven that like he has stepped into a thing of like just being kind of like this kitschy funny dude to now he's serious and he thinks he's serious and he takes himself seriously and it's like
So
you don't know
good.
what you're talking about.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is really real.
Well, it's
like
kind of funny.
The one
He
debate
is.
I saw where he's like, and my hands are really. I'm like, it's a big dick. He's talking about it that he has a big dick.
No.
For in the debate to say this is why I should be the president. I'm like, this is amazing. I can't believe it's real life.
And he goes back and forth about like being erased, like all these things. It's just like
Well,
you're
that's been
an
that
idiot.
happened since Reagan, since
Yeah.
everybody. And then that's a good point. Reagan's the first guy that is a movie star.
Yeah.
But now this will be the first guy that's a reality TV
But then what
star
about his comment
that becomes
about
the
like
president.
punishing women for having an abortion? You think that that's
He
okay?
took it right
No,
back
I don't
after they
think
told him it was
that's
bad.
After
took
he
it
got
right back.
yeah.
After
And it was
everybody
almost
went,
out of context too. It was a little out of context.
So
I think
still-
my fantasy
That's why I
about the
can't
whole
vote.
thing, about the whole debacle of it, is that Trump wins, and then
you think he's gonna win?
if he like,
Well, if you guys are telling everyone to vote for him, it's
if he-
probably
Well,
I'm not-
something that you both just said that. So
if he wins,
I'm just saying. I can't vote for Hillary.
I hope what happens is that he comes out and on his inaugural address, he says, "Do you guys see now? Do you see how fucked we are? You guys are all fucking idiots. We got a country of retards. You voted in a character. I was playing a character for the last fucking several months of Borat and Stephen Colbert combined, and you guys voted for me." Like that, I think that would be it would be awesome. And then he just
so
drops the
there's
mic
no
and leaves.
other choices for us?
I love that meme a little while ago that was like, "How about we don't vote for a president this year, and we
boycott.
just try to be single for a while."
That's
and,
pretty good.
and like it's like that's some real shit. Like Congress went away for what a month or something last year, and nobody noticed. Like, you've proven that we don't need you. We've proven that. It's unnecessary.
It's the most,
There's got to be a different format. That's why I don't want to vote, because I'm like, the format is
It
fucked.
doesn't work.
It's a fuck format no matter what. And the only thing, like, all these people that want to vote for Hillary, I think it's a trip, because then they go, well, yeah, Bernie would be better, but I don't think he could win, so I'm going to vote for Hillary.
Yeah.
Well, it's called a vote. So what the fuck? You just want to be on the winning team or something like that? Is that that's idiocy? That's tantamount to giving
I think
up.
that's people saying anybody but Trump.
So if everybody
Lesser of
said
two
anybody
evils.
but Trump, but then they go, you know what? I really want to get somebody that I believe in. I'll vote for Gary Johnson.
Yeah.
I'll vote for Bernie Sanders. Like if it's Hillary and Trump on the card, if I were to vote, I would write in for Gary Johnson. I hope he gets on a national ballot.
About him, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to
I don't
vote
know.
for somebody that I think sucks eggs just because they're better than the other person that sucks assholes. Like, I'm not doing that. That's a broken game. I'm not going to play.
I don't know. The other thing that I do like about Hillary, and you can say whatever you want about that, but she
Feminist.
well, also like here's the most experienced person ever in politics. She's been on.
Okay.
Wait, let me finish. She's been on every single side of the situation. She's been in
Every single
crazy
wrong side.
every single like crazy negotiations. She's dealt with like the crazy media onslaught from her like husband being the president and going through like a dumb scandal, like
Best
everyone
president
agrees.
the United States
yeah,
has ever known.
absolutely. She has his backing and his knowledge, and she's a highly intelligent human being, and she's very, very calculated in a lot of her stuff.
Very calculated, I would say,
I
too.
think that's an amazing thing to see what could happen in a presidency with somebody like that. And yep, she's taken money, and she is part of like one of the like larger.
She's a thief. She lies. She contradicts herself all the time. And I think the winner for me is that you started by saying she's got the most experience in politics. That's not an asset.
I think it is.
I think it is.
When you walk in, so when Obama, when we were right, I was super excited about Obama going in and like his like vigor and everything, and he walked in the office and he walked out of that like third or fourth day briefing like the life sucked out of him, a totally different human, and like realizing what's going on. She fucking knows what's going on. Like she knows the whole side
she's ready
of what's
to line
going on.
her pockets
And
no matter what's going on.
So is Trump.
He's already kind of rich. I'm not even.
Oh, come on. He's been bankrupt a ton of times, and he's done some like disgusting things to get more and more and more wealthy.
I think it's still better than having. I mean, either one is like, if you voted for either Cruz or Hillary, you're voting for the same old, same old. It's the same broken construct that we already know. It's tighter.
So how do we change the system?
You got to vote for Gary Johnson, and then or Bernie Sanders. Either one of those guys. My guess is that they catch a bullet. Like they'll go out like Putin was after him.
Do you think Bernie has a real plan though? Like I love everything he says, but when it comes down to the
comes to
real,
his advisors, then doesn't it?
It should come down to him knowing some things as well. But like he does have like great knowledge and great experience. But when it comes down to like when you talk about a specific issue and when he's in a debate, he brings up like old history, which is good, but he doesn't have a plan.
Yeah.
He never has a plan.
Is it better to have a rigid plan of how you know things are going to go?
Even a ballpark plan. He doesn't even have a ballpark plan.
Or is it better to have a high sense of honor, integrity, and humanity? Which is better for a leader?
I'm not saying that's the like.
I'm just asking.
No, I think
it's a mix of
I think
both.
you need to have both to be a leader.
Or nothing.
Yeah, you can't just be an ethereal like guy that everyone loves and then not have a plan.
Right.
Like there's got to be some plan, and that is the one thing like about him that I've seen that is kind of like
the plan.
I don't know, like what is the plan?
I would say this about it though. It would seem like the plan for him would be about other people, about being of service, and the plan for Hillary, George Bush, whomever else of that ilk is a plan of selfishness and of how much can I help out the people that have already paid me, that are paying, and not to mention that bitch might go to prison. Like there's just things about those emails going on. I mean, and you hear anybody. I just heard a general the other day, and he said, you know, if I'd have done that, if I'd have sent emails of that nature, I would be in prison right now, or perhaps on my way for treason to the electric chair.
Oh.
The thing about being a politician, like, I don't.
No comment.
Sorry, did I interrupt?
No, it's good. There's nothing to say about it.
He's a lawyer. He knows.
Oh, probably not. The thing about being a politician is, or having a politician in office is, like, nobody likes to be sold. Like, we all know when someone's trying to sell us on something, right? Like, when someone's being very politician-y. But there's a certain skill set that comes along with that. And because if you've been in government for a while, if you understand the issues, these are complex issues. You can't just walk up on stage and say, I think we should do this. Well, why? Well, that's just the reason. But it's not that easy. And when you actually,
there's a backside of why not.
And when you get down to it, there's all kinds of reasons why you would make a decision one way or the other. Right. And someone who's been in that situation before, it's helpful. And someone like Hillary, who's been in politics,
been in every situation,
and in politics for her entire life, of course there's going to be a lot of mistakes that have been made, and there's going to be a lot of stuff out there about who she is. And I'm not necessarily advocating for her. I'm just saying that, you know, she's been in the public eye for the better part of 50 years, right?
Yeah.
So, or maybe 40 to 50 years.
She was
so
like
it's like
in her 20s when she started campaigning.
So when you first see pictures of her and the Confederate flag, and when she was marching against civil rights,
right.
That was the first time I saw her too.
Arkansas.
Threw that one in there, didn't you?
I mean, that's just the first time. I mean, those are the first pictures I remember seeing of her.
It's so. Have y'all ever seen those like side by side of, like, let's say Obama, like the day he entered office versus
it's a soul-sucking job.
I mean, even 3 days later, like I said, there's an amazing video of him like walking out of the briefing. You know, they take you in the Situation Room once you get elected, and or in January, I guess, once you get like inaugurated, you're like then put in a 4-day like forum where you sit at the table and get briefed by every department.
There, do you know?
It's the head of every department, the head of all the state departments. But it's basically, they tell you the reality of all the shit. And I'm sure they give you, I mean, it's 4 days, but I'm sure they can't give you all of it in 4 days. But you get the like gist of all these crazy situations. And they start with the most like important, like,
or immediate,
scary, like you're in the Situation Room. Like shit is about to go down. These bombs are about to go off. Like all this stuff that we don't know about, whatever. And I just remember watching him walk out, like totally
He's
like fucked. Like the look on his face, like he looked like he aged 5 years. Like he just was like all of it had been sucked out of him. And I remember just thinking like, this is it. Like this is how messed up our situation really is.
I guess the thing is, I agree that like Hillary's probably the most knowledgeable, knows how all that shit goes down, knows who's sneaky, who's not, and all that kind of stuff.
She's got to be smart to be in that situation.
I mean, don't you watch House of Cards? Don't you want to like see the Underwoods?
Yeah.
They kind of are the Underwoods. Come on, you want that? You want it to be.
I'll have to watch the more recent ones.
Oh my god, the third season is quite possibly the best season of most shows that I've seen. Like it's really good. The writing.
2 was slow,
but it really built up for this third season.
2 was just about that hooker running around, and then the one dude's trying to find the hooker.
But that kind of establishes his character into new things that happen, and then it gets them to a place. Like the whole season 2 was like a building year, and now season 3 is like I could not stop watching it.
It's pretty addictive.
There's a sequence that's Netflix so phenomenal. When I saw that, when I was like, wow, Kevin Spacey's doing a show on this platform that nobody knows anything about.
Guess what? Kevin Spacey drinks Caveman and loves Caveman.
Is that right?
His assistant had the producer specifically request it for our stuff in Louisiana because they had it on the Goldbug truck. Shout out to Goldbug in Louisiana. Sorry, Atlanta, not in Louisiana. They were in Louisiana, but now they're in Atlanta.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah, so all that same time they got the Goldbug truck, which serves Caveman, got requests for the nitro cans because Kevin Spacey loved it, and
then Hemsworth wanted it,
and your
not
friend
Hemsworth,
Pratt,
but Chris Pratt.
And
then what other movie was on out there?
Well, we were on.
Oh, then that one in Boston. God, yeah, Holly and Maynard did set something up. I can't remember who it was. It wasn't. I don't know. Anyway, a lot of love
talk
for
about
Caveman
something happy.
There.
Yeah, let's get off.
That is happy.
Caveman's happy, not the president's.
We're already at topic out of that, and then you just brought back old shit. This is the problem with women is that they get addicted to that old thing that's not even happening right now. And look at how big your eyes got. He's
scared.
Oh, because I said the truth. I know it's hard to say the truth in front of them even.
There's 2 strong women at this table.
I'm not even
Luckily, you're
right
sitting
now.
on the other side.
Luckily,
there's some barbecue splitting us up. Where's Logan? Is he rolling in here right now?
Yeah,
we'll have Logan and Nick McCoy here. I'm excited about that. Nick McCoy, brand new guy, just said no to his job. Later, moving on. Don't know what to, but I'm going.
Love
He's
that.
going to need a lawyer, though.
Love that.
He is going to need a lawyer.
Really? We
What's
can talk
that?
about
What's
it later.
that guy
God knows
saying
why.
again?
Yeah, that's off the record.
Anyone have a pen?
So, other things we're excited about this weekend. Picnic is catering this whole event if you pre-reserved, apparently. But if you're in Austin and this is on the air before this weekend, Picnic is the place to go get your paleo food. It's so delicious. Naomi.
Yeah. With the fancy haircut.
Yeah. They have a thing called butter bones over there that's like bone broth.
Bones?
It's bone broth in a coffee cup with butter and MCT, and then paleo sriracha if you want, and they blend it all together, and it is delicious. Except
paleo sriracha.
That sounds
she makes
good.
it, but it's really hot here, so trying to drink that while you're out there is really intense.
Not spicy hot, but tempered. It's hot.
Yeah,
Spicy
it's
and
100% humidity out there or something right now. So I tried to drink it yesterday morning while I was driving around. I was dying.
Even getting into Dallas, I got off the plane. I've got on a light hoodie and like that jean jacket vest. And as soon as that, I got like 3 feet from the opening door till you walk onto the rampway or whatever. It was just like everything was wet from my wrists all the way up my arms. I was just soaked. I was like, this is fucked. And then I walked as fast as I could, got in the terminal. Whew, it's fine again. Artificial air.
Yeah.
Goddamn, Texas is no joke humid right now.
It is so humid. I was watching when I was driving out here. My mom was worried about the tornadoes because there were a bunch of tornadoes happening across the state. And I could see on my little Doppler thing on my phone, people post pictures of the tornadoes that were in front of me, but I never got to the
That's so
tornadoes.
trippy.
Yeah. I was like, but they were cleared out by the time I got there. They moved on to Oklahoma.
Oklahoma loves that. Tornadoes love Oklahoma.
That's like Tornado Valley.
I don't know why you want to live there.
I don't get it. People that are like, I rebuilt my house 3 times. I'm like, oh, I would do it once maybe and move.
No, I would just move.
I would do it once, sell it, move. That's it. I don't need to do that. If that's a history and you're generationally there, most of the people that are 3-4 generations, like, how many
they're
of
also
those?
saying something about earthquakes there now too, that they're like prime. So
that's
it's
that fracking action. That's
Is
that
that
smart
possible?
shit that we do, that fracking.
Fracking, yeah.
Can fracking cause an earthquake?
Why not? Oh yeah, mini quakes all over.
I grew up in Northeast PA, and Northeast PA sits on one of the biggest pockets of natural gas.
That's where U.S. Steel and U.S. natural gas is and all that. Yep.
Yeah, and it's Marcellus Shale is the name of the rock, and you gotta like drill through the shale.
And then all the people. Did you watch the Gasland on HBO?
Yes.
Oh.
Dude, it changed the landscape of the little sleepy town that I grew up in. You had like farmers who had literally no money for their entire lives for generations, and the gas companies came rolling in, and you had 1,000 acres of land, and all of a sudden you're a millionaire, right?
That's like Louisiana did that with all the hillbillies down there.
Yeah, but the little town couldn't. There was no infrastructure to have all these trucks coming in and out all day long. Plus all the environmental, there's been a lot of environmental stuff. Like we had neighbors who had YouTube videos where they were like turning on their faucet and lighting the water on fire.
Dude, in Madrid, I got a friend of mine, and he's in Madrid, Mexico, and I don't know what they're doing there, but he turns on, he goes and works on people's houses, and they turn on, and he'll video it and he'll send them to me. Watch this, Tait, and he'll have a torch, like one of those long ones that you light the stove with or whatever, going, and then he turned the faucet on, and water comes out, and it starts on fire.
Yeah.
And it's fucking like a flamethrower going into your sink.
It's water. It's not supposed to be on
It's
fire.
so crazy. And then all the cancer rates that go up. Because,
like Flint, Michigan.
That's a whole different thing. That was lead pipes.
Yeah.
And then if you're... I guess
knew better.
The deal is if the pH is a certain... I don't know what the levels are of the water, that it's safe to go through there. But if they're not, it reacts with the lead in a different way and makes it poisonous and a contaminant. And it had been like that for years. And then they opened up this new reservoir, and that was a wrap. And kids died. It's a trip, man. They're like, I don't know. I posted, I was at this club at the jiu-jitsu tournament a few years ago. It's one of the first EBIs. And I go into the bathroom, and it was like one of those things where you're like, Jesus Christ, just wrecked. The toilet's just wrecked. The paper towels everywhere. Everybody just decides to kind of piss around the toilet instead or whatever. and I took a picture of it, and I wrote underneath it, I go, humans are... the only species that looks at you look at a toilet as if it's the only time you're ever going to need it. You're going to need that again, but I'm going to go ahead and make it uninhabitable for anybody or for myself later.
Disaster.
And we do that with our oceans. We do that with the fucking land we have, with our air. We do it with everything. We treat it as if tomorrow's not coming and we're not going to breathe again tomorrow.
Right. It's the same thing with like hotel rooms. When did people start thinking that when you go to a hotel room, you can like
destroy it.
Or just visiting a different city.
Yeah, it's like somebody has to clean up your mess.
And think about that. There were people there before you that slept and did that same thing. You know, like, do you want to be in that room where someone did that? Like,
no.
I don't know. Some of the best advice. Everybody's like, well, what's like a spiritual life like, and this and that, and a guy said, you know, having good manners is 90% of a spiritual life. He told me once. Because I was like, I need something that is that looks like I can, like, that's not ethereal, that's not like an idea, that's like a wisp that doesn't really exist. Like, what's something you can grasp? And that was something that was there. And then he said, and also leave whatever it is, whether it's a conversation with a person or whether it's a physical environment, leave it better than when you came. Leave everything better than when you came. I don't care if you didn't piss on the toilet seat. If somebody did before you, go ahead and leave it better for the next guy.
Wipe it
or
off.
whatever. You know what I mean? And that's a huge thing. And I tell myself that all the time. It's not like I learned that and then I'm like, I got it. It's like, because I'll kind of miss a garbage can. I'll be like, whatever, I'm outside and it's at the gas station. And then I'm like, asshole, go pick that up. Like, but I have to have that talk with myself. I have to be in a self-regulatory state all the time.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, well, no one's watching, so maybe I can get away with it. But actually, if you practice that, as if someone was watching or just, you know,
there's a
act
great
that
quote.
way, then it turned like all those little things turn into big things, right? Yep. And it's like it's automatically ingrained in who you are.
That's the other thing this guy said. He says you can't think your way into right action, but you can act your way into right thinking.
Right.
And he's like, and if your thinking dictates your emotions and that will dictate your actions, You've kind of got it backwards. You're being run on emotion. You need to be a thinking person that's going to dictate your actions, and that's going to change the way you feel about things.
Yeah.
You know, you want a happier life, be better.
All of those little things add up subconsciously over the course of a lifetime, months, years, to really big things. And so those little
Gladwell wrote a great book about that, The Tipping Point.
Yeah.
That touches on, it's kind of tangent to this conversation, but yeah.
Yeah.
What were you going to say? There's a great saying?
It's a great quote about being something about your character is not what people see. God, I've heard it like 1,000 times. It's who you are when nobody's watching.
Right.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Well, cool. I feel like we got enough to test this sucker and see if it's actually going to work.
Did this actually work? I hope so. We also got to get going so that we can get back here bright and early tomorrow morning and kill it.
Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.
Peace out.
Oh, hey, everybody, drop your Instagrams or wherever people can get a hold of you. Drew
at movelegalpc.com and at fitlawdrew.
At fitlawdrew.
At Lacie_Mackey, I think, on Instagram now. I did change that because it was like, let's use my real name, but someone else already has Lacie Mackey, so someone's like stealing my shit, but it's Lacie, LACIE _MACKEY. And I think the same on Twitter.
Sweet. Mine is Gig'em Lindsey.
That's some Texas shit.
Oh, we're here in the Gig'em capital.
Or better, follow me at Birthfit, birthfit.com, Birthfit on Twitter, Birthfit wherever. We also have the Birthfit podcast.
Bam.
Which guys love too.
I listened to the one with Scott McGee and cried last week when I was on the car.
So good.
I listened to it in the morning.
Well, that's a heavy story.
Heavy one. Yeah. But there's tons of free information there. I don't know. Find me on one of those and
fantastic.
Yeah. CavemanCoffeeCo.com as well.
That's a good
or just
one.
at Caveman Coffee Co.
At Caveman Coffee Co on Instagram. I'm at Tait Fletcher, TAIT, and taitimusmaximus on Snapchat. And that's it, motherfuckers. See you next time.